Good morning, students. In today's lecture, we would be discussing about the diencephalon. We would be discussing about its location, its various parts, and we would be discussing in detail about the hypothalamus. That is the structure, its different boundaries, different nuclei. So the diencephalon is a middle structure. It is the large part is embedded inside the cerebrum, and so it is hidden from the surface view. Its cavity forms the greater part of the third ventricle. So in this figure, the green structure is the diencephalon, and it is just for the sake of explanation, it is presented here in this way. Otherwise, it is hidden inside this cerebrum, and it is not, we are not able to view it from surface level. Now this is a sagittal section, and we can see that diencephalon forms the greater part of the cavity of the third ventricle, and it is it's a middle structure located in the middle part of the cerebrum. So because of the hypothalamic sulcus, the entire diencephalon is divided into various parts. This hypothalamic sulcus extends from the interventricular foramen to the cerebral aqueduct, and it divides the entire diencephalon. That is, the each half of the diencephalon is divided into dorsal and ventral parts. The ventral part consists of the hypothalamus and the subthalamus, and the dorsal part consists of the thalamus, the metathalamus, which includes the lateral and medial geniculate bodies, and the epithalamus, which includes the pineal body and the habenula. So this number 5 here is the hypothalamic sulcus, and it divides the each half of diencephalon into ventral and dorsal parts. So the ventral part consists of the hypothalamus. Subthalamus is not visible here. This is the dorsal part and consists of the thalamus, the epithalamus with the pineal body and the habenula, and also the metathalamus. This is the lateral and medial geniculate bodies. They hang from the pulvinar of the thalamus in the posterior portion, and they are part of the metathalamus. Now the hypothalamus, we would be discussing about the hypothalamus now. It is part of the diencephalon, and we've already discussed that it forms or it lies in the floor and lateral wall of the third ventricle. It is a principal ganglion of the autonomic nervous system. It performs a wide variety of autonomic functions. It is considered as a neuroglandular structure, and has control over various visceral and metabolic activities of the body. So in this figure, this is the hypothalamus below the hypothalamic sulcus in the ventral part of the diencephalon. Again, this figure is showing the hypothalamus and the various other structures related with it. This figure is also showing hypothalamus. Again, the various boundaries of the hypothalamus. So the boundaries of the hypothalamus, the superior boundary is formed by the hypothalamic sulcus. Inferiorly, it is formed by the optic chiasma, the tuber cinerarium, and the mammillary bodies. We had already discussed them when we had talked about the third ventricle. So you can see in the figure here, this is the optic chiasma, and this is going to be the inferior boundary. This is the superior boundary, that is the hypothalamic sulcus. The inferior boundary is formed by optic chiasma, the tuber cinerarium, and the mammillary bodies. Anteriorly, it would be formed by the lamina terminalis. This is the lamina terminalis. On the posterior side, we have the tegmentum of the midbrain. And the medial boundary is formed by the third ventricle. And lateral boundary is formed by the internal capsule. The various regions have been assigned according to their relation with certain structures. That is, the area that adjoins the lamina terminalis is referred to as the pre-optic region of the hypothalamus. So this region here adjoining the lamina terminalis would be the pre-optic. Then above the optic chiasma here would be the supraoptic. This region here above the mammillary body would be the mammillary region, and this region is the tubular infundibular region, because you have the infundibulum here. So this is the tuberal or the infundibulotuberal region, including the infundibulum and the tuber cinerarium. So the entire hypothalamus is divided into four regions, that is the preoptic adjoining the lamina terminalis, the supraoptic above the optic chiasma, the tuberal region or the infundibulotuberal region, which includes infundibulum, tuber cinerarium, and the region above it, and mammillary region, which is the area above the mammillary body. This image is showing the various nuclei that are located in the different regions of the hypothalamus, and they are named accordingly. This is again showing the various nuclei present in the hypothalamus. They have various functions. They are involved in different type of functions. So the various hypothalamic nuclei are as follows. The nuclei located in the preoptic region is named after that region, that is the preoptic nucleus. The nuclei that are present in the supraoptic region are the supraoptic nucleus, the paraventricular, and the anterior nucleus. You can see some of them, like you can see the preoptic nucleus. This is the preoptic nucleus adjoining with the lamina terminalis in the preoptic region. Then in the supraoptic region, there is the supraoptic nucleus. This is the paraventricular nucleus. Next is the tuberal region. The tuberal region consists of the ventromedial nucleus, the dorsomedial nucleus, and the infundibular nucleus. And in the mammillary region, there is the posterior nucleus and the mammillary nucleus. Some of them can be seen here, like this is the ventromedial nucleus here. and this is the dorsomedial nucleus. This is the posterior nucleus and this is the medullary nucleus. This is dorsomedial, ventromedial and infundibular nucleus. So that's all about the diencephalon. The remaining portion we would be discussing in the next lecture. Thank you so much.